In July 1949, 17-year-old Norma Paget accused for black men of SA, and violent mobs quickly formed to bring her attackers to justice, destroying the lives of four innocent men. According to Norma Paget, she and her husband Willie were driving home from a dance. She claimed that their car stalled and four black men stopped and offered to help. The men then allegedly abducted and raped Paget after attacking her husband. Within hours of Paget reporting the assault, Florida Lake County Sheriff Willis McCall had put together a posse. The angry mob marched into black neighborhoods, burning down homes and threatening residents. Samuel Shepard and Walter Irvin were arrested first. The 22-year-old World War II veterans were brutally beaten while police questioned them. Charles Greenlee, who was just 16 years old, was arrested soon after. He was viciously beaten as well. When 26-year-old Ernest Thomas became aware of what was happening, he tried to flee. A violent posse of 1,000 white men led by McCall tracked him down a week later. They found him sleeping under a tree in a swamp and proceeded to shoot him more than 400 times. The doctor who had examined Norma Paget after the incident said that he found no signs of SA. In fact, there was no evidence at all. However, a judge refused to allow the Groveland Four's defense to call the doctor as a witness. Despite the lack of any evidence against the Groveland Four, they were all found guilty. The case incited outrage in the black community, and soon future Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall decided to represent the young men in their appeal for justice. In 1951, the United States Supreme Court overturned the original sentences of Irvin and Shepard due to adverse pretrial publicity and ordered the Florida courts to retry their case. Sheriff McCall was furious. While he transported them to a county prison to await trial, he pulled over and shot both Shepard and Irvin, killing Shepard. McCall claimed that the men had tried to escape, but Irvin told a very different story. He said McCall ordered them to get out of the car and tried to kill them. Irvin only survived by playing dead. McCall's premeditated execution of a handcuffed prisoner went without punishment. Irvin went on to face his retrial alone. Once again, an all-white jury found him guilty of rape and sentenced him to death, though his sentence was eventually commuted to life in prison when a more moderate governor was elected in 1954. Ultimately, Irvin spent 19 years in prison. He was paroled in 1968, but he died from a heart attack the very next year. Charles Greenlee was paroled in 1962 after 13 years in prison. When NAACP lawyer Franklin Williams investigated the original accusation, he concluded that the Pagets fabricated the story to cover up spousal abuse. Sadly, the injustice of the case stretched well beyond the four young men falsely accused of rape. Harry Moore, an NAACP official who fought for Irvin's retrial, and his wife Harriet died in a 1951 bombing of their home because they spoke out against the case. It wasn't until 2019 that Governor Ron DeSantis issued a posthumous pardon. And by the time the men were officially exonerated in 2021, none of them were alive to witness the occasion. Despite overwhelming evidence, Norma Paget reiterated her testimony that she was SA, and the four men were guilty. She stated, "I'm begging y'all not to give the pardons because they did it. If you do, you're going to be just like them."